So in our July survey, we focused on two themes. The first is food happiness. We directly ask consumers how they feel about the food choices that are in front of them. And then the second theme in our July survey was access to and use of farmers markets. The key takeaway is that the vast majority of Americans, 85% of respondents in our survey, tell us they're happy or very happy with their diets, with the food that they eat. Interestingly, the share of Americans that tell us that they're happy with their food hasn't really changed much in the 2.5 years that we've been collecting this data. It remains at about 85%. Even through a bout of really high food inflation. That's not to say that Americans like high food prices or like rapid inflation, but through that bout of inflation, Americans have remained happy with their diets. On food prices, food inflation in July was 2.2% on an annual basis. That's the lowest reading we've seen since we started collecting data in January of 2022. And Americans have noticed, and they're optimistic. They continue to tell us that they expect food inflation to be lower in the coming year than it has been in the past year. The other issue that we explored is access to and use of farmers markets. Summer, for many of us in the United States, is farmer market season. And so we ask consumers, one, do they have access? And two, do they shop at those farmers markets? 82% of Americans in our survey tell us that they have access to a farmer's market. Of those, 4 of 5, 80%, tell us they plan to shop for food at a farmer's market. And while there are some differences across income groups, what we find is that across the income spectrum, Americans plan to take advantage of the fresh produce, local foods that are made available to them in our farmers markets. Prices of produce at farmers markets tend to be higher than at the grocery store, but you still see people choosing to do their shopping at farmers markets, and I think that's for a couple of reasons. One is because of quality. The tomatoes grown locally are often better tasting, better looking, fresher than the ones you might find in the grocery store. And then I think also there's an experience in the farmer's market that you don't get in the grocery store. You come together, people from across the community. There's fun for kids and families, maybe some music. And so it's a bit of a shopping event and not purely utilitarian.